Imagine if everything that had been considered mere rumors turned out to be a carefully hidden truth. For years, fans wondered, analyzing every reflection, every smile, even every pause in conversation. Many dismissed it as mere fantasy. But what if all those clues weren't coincidence? What if what was seen on screen was just a small part of a much larger story? From the moment they first appeared together, something felt different. It wasn't just professionalism or exceptional acting. There was a warmth that couldn't be faked, a closeness that transcended the script. The cameras may have only captured a small part, but for those who paid close attention, there was another story slowly forming behind the scenes. After their massive, life-changing success, the public spotlight intensified. Their every move was explained, every interaction endlessly discussed. Yet amidst it all, the two remained distant, at least in front of the camera. It seemed like there was something they wanted to protect from the outside world. Many small moments became topics of conversation. An appearance that lingered too long, a smile that appeared for no reason, or a spontaneous reaction that couldn't be hidden. These simple things may seem trivial to some, but to fans, they are significant pieces of the puzzle. However, the pressures of the entertainment industry are no easy feat in a world full of rules and expectations. Maintaining an image is everything. Not every truth can be revealed so readily. Sometimes, silence is the only way to survive. For years, they chose not to give clear answers. Every question was met with a faint smile or deflected with a joke. For some, this was seen as a denial. But for others, it only reinforced the belief that there was something they were hiding. As time went on, the distance between them in public became more apparent. They were rarely seen together, almost never interacting openly. Many began to suspect that it was all just an illusion created by fans. But beneath it all, the real story may have never truly ended. Relationships don't always have to be visible to exist. Sometimes the strongest are the most hidden. Some industry insiders began dropping subtle hints. None spoke directly, but enough to reignite speculation. It was as if there was a big secret known to many, but never openly revealed. And then something began to change. Slowly, the boundaries they had always guarded began to crack. Not grand confessions or official statements, but small, hard-to-ignore hints. Things they had once avoided now resurfaced in more subtle ways. Devoted fans began to notice the same patterns as before. Attention to detail became key again. Every appearance, every word, every facial expression, everything was explained with hope. What made this story so powerful was its consistency. Despite the passage of time and changing circumstances, there was a common thread that connected everything. Something that couldn't be explained by mere coincidence. Many wondered, why did they choose to remain silent? The answer may be more complex than we imagine. Their world wasn't just about personal feelings, but also about responsibilities, contracts, and public expectations. In such circumstances, honesty could be a huge risk. One wrong move could change everything. Careers, reputations, even personal lives, everything could be affected. However, feelings cannot be completely hidden. No matter how hard they try, there's always a small gap where the truth can shine through. And that's what fans have been constantly looking for. Now, after all these years, the narrative that was once considered impossible is starting to feel more real. Not because of any outright confessions, but because the mounting evidence is hard to ignore. Perhaps the truth will never be revealed outright. Perhaps there won't be an official statement that answers all the questions. But for those who have been following this journey from the beginning, the explanation is probably already quite clear. Ultimately, everyone is free to believe what they want. Is this just a coincidence exaggerated, or a true story carefully hidden? The answer lies in each person's hands. What's certain is that this story has become something more than just a rumor. It's a phenomenon, a mystery that lives on in the hearts of fans. And perhaps, precisely because it's never fully revealed, it's all the more enduring. Because sometimes, the most interesting thing isn't what we know, but what we continue to try to understand. But there's one thing many people often forget, that behind the cameras and endless speculation, they're still just ordinary people. They feel pressure, fear, and perhaps even joy they can't freely show. The world sees them as public figures, but beneath that, there's a private side they strive to guard. When popularity reaches its peak, every step becomes more difficult. Even small things can be misinterpreted, exaggerated, and then turned into controversy. In such circumstances, maintaining any relationship, whether as close friends or beyond, becomes incredibly difficult. There are times when silence speaks louder than words. Not attending an event or deciding not to appear together is often perceived as distancing. However, it can also be a form of protection, a way to keep something from being destroyed by public expectations. Some fans are beginning to realize that not everything needs to be proven outright. Some relationships don't need public validation to remain meaningful. And it's precisely in that simplicity that something genuine can endure. As time goes by, perceptions are beginning to change. While people once sought evidence to support speculation, many are now beginning to understand the complexity of the situation they're in. They're no longer simply curious, but also starting to appreciate the boundaries. Even so, the curiosity never truly goes away. Every new appearance, every project they undertake, always carries a small hope that maybe there will be a new clue, a sign that could answer all the questions that have been hanging over them. And therein lies the true appeal. It's not just about whether the relationship is real or not, but about the emotional journey fans experience. They share the joy, the tension, and even the disappointment, as if they were part of a story that never truly ends. Perhaps one day, when the time is right and circumstances have changed, they will choose to speak. Or perhaps not at all. And that wouldn't diminish the meaning of everything that has happened so far. Because ultimately, some stories are not meant to have a clear ending. They are left open, living in interpretation, and continuing to evolve in the minds of those who believe. And perhaps that is precisely the true beauty of this story. Sometimes, what makes a story endure isn't certainty, but mystery. The less is known, the greater the curiosity. And in this case, it's precisely that lack of transparency that keeps their story alive, talked about, and felt to this day. Many have come to realize that perhaps it's not about seeking definitive answers, but rather about accepting that not everything needs to be explained. Some stories are felt enough, without needing confirmation. Some connections are believed enough, without needing to be announced. And as time passes, the world may change, public attention will shift, and new stories will emerge. But this story, with all its speculation, emotion, and mystery, will remain an unforgettable part of history, a story that will live on, even when everyone has stopped asking questions.